So if you're ready, let's get stuck into it. So today is all about helping you understand how to pick the perfect time to buy a home. Now, to warm you up and just to sort of set the scene, I want to pose something to you. I want to know, what do you believe is going to win the day? What is more important? Is it timing the market, or is it time in the market? So timing the market or time in the market. So what I mean by that is that picking the exact right time when prices are at the bottom, going up, where are they? Or just being in the market. So have a think about it. Pick one of those. Tell your friend next to you. So the answer, of course, is time in the market. Now, why that's important is that it is near impossible to time the market. A few weeks ago, we chatted to industry veteran and legend Malcolm Dingle, who's been doing this for more than 50 years. And his one piece of advice to everyone on the call was just do it, because everything will work out in the medium to long term. And that is what owning a home is all about. If you try to focus too much on picking the right time, invariably you'll get it wrong and you won't be making a sensible and grounded decision. Now, the problem is that most people, when they're looking to get in, is they're suffering from three lacks. The first one is a lack of motivation. The second one is a lack of focus. The third one is a lack of confidence. So these are the three lacks that typically hold us back: motivation, focus, confidence. Now, most of us have got motivation because we need somewhere to live, okay? So if you don't have motivation and you don't want to own a home, that's okay, but then this probably isn't for you. And if you are looking to get more motivated about life and about things, then I'm not the expert for that. I suggest you go and watch Tony Robbins, anything. I love watching Denzel Washington's speech to college graduates. Whatever it is, there are better people out there to do it. What I want to talk to you today is about the other two. So first of all, a lack of focus, okay? So that's more likely to hold us back, is not having that lack of focus. The issue with focus is we think about it, then we get distracted, we get busy, we think about buying a freestanding home, then we say a townhouse, then we say an apartment, then we say we've got to get a home loan, then we go here, everywhere. And guess what happens? What we call shiny object syndrome. You know that call, SOS, when your ship is sinking? That's what I say, shiny object syndrome. That happens to everyone, right? It happens to me. I've been doing this for a long time, and it still happens to me all the time, that you get distracted. That's life. Think about it. How many times you've been into the local Bunnings store? You've gone in just to buy a mop, and you walk out with shelves, tiles, carpet, who knows what it is. It's very, very easy to get distracted. So you need to have a clear focus. The second one, okay, because focus, it's solvable, it's fixable, it's doable, okay? But one of the keys to success is having the confidence, okay? So remember, the first problem was focus, chasing too many of those shiny objects, getting distracted. The second key problem is when you don't have the confidence. And that often comes from you trying to do too much, and therefore you're getting nothing done and you feel uncomfortable about all of it. So it's really important that you have a system and a structure to be able to follow to give you that focus and to give you the confidence so that you can execute that. Because remember, price is what you pay, value is what you get. So if you've got that confidence to be able to not get distracted by, oh, but hang on, that's cheaper, or compare this, and actually look through and see the value that you're getting, that you can do with clear confidence. Now, to have that confidence, you need a structure and you need a system to follow, which is what I want to go through with you. So, what are we going to do today? It's going to be fast-paced. So strap in and focus, because if you do tune out for any short amount of time, you're probably going to feel left behind. So we're only going to go for about 30 minutes because I really want to cram as much as I can in, but I don't want to give you too much. And for those of you that want to know more, of course, reach out to us after, or of course, we'll hang around for as many questions as there are. So I've said to you, I want to talk through to you the perfect time to buy formula. So even if you don't know what to do, even if you don't have a home loan or you're not sure how to get a home loan, even if you don't have any spare time to focus on finding that new home, even if you have any other excuse, okay? We've heard them all, right? I wrote the book on half of it. Doesn't matter what excuses you for, today we will overcome them, all right? And we'll also give you the secret to slaying that shiny object syndrome. Remember, SOS will kill that forever so you don't get continually distracted. Because remember, today, the goal that I have and what we're hoping to do in the next 30 minutes is help you build a system to identify that value and transform that into the perfect time to buy a home. Okay, because remember, we've got to find that value, we've got to have that focus, you've got to have that confidence, and that, when properly executed, will be the perfect time to buy a home. So before we get into it, who are we? What do we stand for? Well, we have a lot of businesses here at Salvo, but ultimately, we're just people, just like everyone on the line there. We all struggle from the same struggles, suffer and try to overcome the same challenges. We're all either looking to buy our first home, an investment property, upgrade to our next home. We're home buyers just like you on the line today. Collectively, as a company and as a business, we have been a powerhouse over the last decade. We've helped create more than 3,000 homes for people just like you on the line. We've delivered more than $1.6 billion in value to people like you on the line. What are we going to do this decade? We're hoping to do even better, and we're hoping to do that with you. So I don't tell you these stats just for ego or to sound good. I tell you this because I want you to know that we're good at what we do. We know what we're doing. We've helped every different type of person out there that can be looking at it. So whether you're a first home buyer, whether you're looking to upgrade to your next home, whether you're actually looking at the next stage to downsize to somewhere, whether you're an investor, even if you're an overseas investors, we've helped create homes for all of those types of people. So no matter what you're looking for, we can help you with that, and we do it really, really well. We're really good at this stuff, and that's what we love doing. Now, I just want to caution you before we move on. There is a lot of people out there suggesting that they can help, suggesting that they know what they're doing. And there are some great people out there, don't get me wrong, but there is a ton of people out there that think they know what they're doing. They've gone and done a simple course on YouTube, watched a couple of videos, whatever it is, and then they're claiming to be able to assist you and help you. And that is what I call the blind leading the blind. And you know what happens? You fall off an edge. So, I'm sure you've either experienced it or you've had friends or family or people that you know who've experienced getting bad advice from accountants thinking that they know how to help you find the right home. Brokers taking you down the wrong path, financial planners and advisors going somewhere different. So you really need the right specialist for that area. Just think about it. If you break your arm, you're not going to go to a plastic surgeon. They're amazing at being a plastic surgeon, but you're going to go to an orthopedic surgeon for a broken arm and vice versa. So really important that you get the right specialist for the right job. And as I said, I'm not doing this because I want you to think we're amazing. We know we're good at what we do. Our results stand for ourselves, but I really want you to believe it so that you can really let yourself go, take in what we're saying, because there is a ton of opportunities out there. And if you have the right framework, then you will know the perfect time to buy a home. For example, some of our past customers, meet John and Sarah, didn't think that they could afford to buy their first home. They only had a small deposit saved. They believed that they would need at least another 5 years to save up enough to be able to buy their first home. Well, guess what? Now they're living in that first home and loving every minute of it. Meet Jessica. She'd been rejected for a home loan. She wanted to secure her family's future with an investment property and get that monthly cash flow. But having been rejected and being self-employed, she believes that there was no option for her to move forward. Guess what? Jessica's now collecting that monthly rent check. She's enjoying that from her investment property and loving it. Meet Terry. Lovely, lovely man. Okay. He'd been searching. Now, I've said here 4 years. I reckon it was probably more like 6 or 7 years for that next home. You know, he had the big family home. He was looking for something to suit that next stage of his lifestyle. Money wasn't an issue. You know, unlike our other two that were looking there, he owned his family home outright, but he needed to get that right home that provided everything for his lifestyle, you know, had that low maintenance. He could lock it up and leave it. He could potentially flip it into an investment property if the need arose. Guess what? After 4 years, probably more like 7 years, now he's in that new home. He's enjoying time by the pool, chatting with his fellow residents in the lounge, and he is able to go and enjoy the theatre just a walk away from where he is. So that sounds pretty good. For most of you, you're probably wondering, well, if it's that easy, why are you struggling from it? Why are your friends struggling from it? Why are your friends and family suffering? Why doesn't everyone get these results? Well, it really comes down to a few key things. You know, most people don't know what they want. Okay, they think they do, but they're not clear because they don't have a framework to properly identify what it is they want, or more importantly, what it is that they need. They don't have the right budget, or they've got unrealistic expectations. I mean, how many of you on the line, and be honest, have got champagne taste with a beer budget? I do it all the time. I want everything the best for the best and I don't want to pay for it, or you can't actually afford it, okay? And you're wasting your time. And that's why a lot of people struggle. You think you can afford it or you can't afford it. I don't know how many people, just like John and Sarah, when they first came to us, thought that they couldn't afford yet to buy a property. Others that come and think that they can afford it, but don't actually have everything organised. So that's another reason why people fail. Don't think you can get a home loan or don't know how to get a home loan, okay? Really, really important part of the process. And, you know, I think Vecchi's going to talk to that a little bit more later, but I know one of his favourite lines is talking about how many weeks, even months, people will spend studying, researching a holiday, and they'll spend all of about 30 seconds on a home loan, which is a far, far bigger financial commitment. I mean, it's generally a 25 to 30 year commitment, longer than most marriages, but people won't even spend more than a few minutes on it. And of course, the lack of confidence to actually execute that. So remember, we talked about that lack of focus, that lack of confidence. These are some of the key issues that people struggle to overcome, because ultimately, you cannot pick the perfect time to buy until you know what you need, okay? You need to be able to understand that, and you need a framework. So the solution. You're not going to solve it overnight, but as I said, and I introduced, and those of you that are long-time listeners will know this framework, I've developed this over the last 20 years, and it is a 3-pillar framework, okay? The first pillar is find. You need to be able to find the right home. I'm going to talk in a little bit more detail and give some examples of that. So it's not just something that you love. It's got to be the right home for the right location with all of the right amenities and key aspects to it. The second pillar is finance, okay? One of the best things about buying a home is that you can use other people's money. I mean, how good is that? You know, if we could go to the local Gucci or Louis Vuitton store and use other people's money to buy it, I know that some of our wives and husbands maybe do that with a credit card. That'd be great, and have 25 to 30 years to pay it off. So that is one of the key things about it. But if you don't get it right, like I said, you need to spend more than about 5 minutes. Get the structures right, get the finance right, and it is not set and forget. You need to continually look at that and see where those opportunities are. The third pillar is manage. Now, for those of you who are investors, you might be thinking, how am I going to collect the rent, look after my tenant, do the maintenance? Yeah, but I'm talking even bigger and more macro than that. You know, how are you going to manage your experience, your expertise, and your time to be able to deliver on what it is that you want to do with that home? So, you know, I give that example. If you're thinking about doing a major renovation, but you work 80 hours a week and you've got no experience in ever doing it, how do you think that's going to match? You know, you've got to match that correctly with you. So the 3 key pillars in this framework: find, finance, manage. Really, really important that you understand each of these. They all work together, and you need to identify which one of these three pillars will move the needle the most, or which one you're struggling with. Focus in on that, fix that up, and then move on to the other pillar. And you use all of these together. And as I said, it is not a set and forget. So even if you're watching today and thinking you're happy with your home, you're not thinking about buying investment and you want to keep it as it is, you should still be always thinking about this and continually reviewing it and continually thinking about it over and over. Okay. So remember John and Sarah. First home buyers, loving their home. Now, Becky, we talked about it before. Finance, key. I know this lovely couple. I think you dealt with them personally as well. They came thinking they couldn't do it. What did you do, and what were some of the objections that they had, and how did you overcome that to actually get them into that new home?
Well, initially, obviously, when they came into our office and through the process, the initial interview that we had with the clients, we pretty much quickly came to the conclusion that they were lacking the deposit requirement. At that time, they only had 5%. They could save up a little bit more on top of that as well. But what we quickly did was identify that we were confident that they would qualify for the first, for their deposit guarantee, the government scheme that's available. So we actually applied and wanted to make sure that there were enough available spaces, went straight to the CBA. They confirmed that they had some spaces available, put the application in, and they qualified and they were successful with it. So we managed to get them a 95% LVR on the purchase. The good part about that as well is that with the 15% government guarantee, they avoided the mortgage insurance payment as well, which is quite excessive from that perspective. So it ended up being a very, very successful outcome as well.
I mean, that's amazing. They were thinking they had another 5 years of saving.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got them in there, so that's 5 years of growth, 5 years of life they get to live and enjoy in that place.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's simply from knowing what to do and leveraging the expertise and experience you guys have got.
Yeah, and that just really started from an initial inquiry. The inquiry came into us from a finance perspective. We had a quick look at it. And like I said, it was through the conversation, the initial fact-finding mission that we did, as we do with all clients, we pretty much identified they got good incomes, stable employment from that perspective as well. They did well enough to save a 5% deposit, but in most markets, that's probably not enough. But in today's market, with all the incentives and the schemes that are available, mate, they were, and we did it pretty quickly too.
Good. And so, Lucas, once Vec and his team had worked out that the guys could actually buy now, how did you help them actually overcome the challenges of what they wanted and, bring it down to what actually matched their lifestyle now?
James, I remember the couple well. They were just walking past, going to the South Melbourne markets. I was having an open house. I was there with my board, and they came up to me and said, we love the look of the building. We just want to come in and have a look. We're not ready to buy yet. And I said, let's go have a look. Happy to help people. And then I said, how come you're not ready yet? What are you waiting for? Then they told me the story, I don't think. And I know through our team how capable they are and how they got access to a number of different lenders and then sort of pass them on to Becky. So we went up, showed them the sort of different floor plans that we had available for them. And they thought originally what they wanted was something facing the city. Then when they saw the 2-bedroom option facing the bay, it just blew them away. Waking up every morning, opening your eyes from your bedroom and just looking into the water was amazing. They loved the design. They loved the layout. They simply said they haven't seen anything this good on the market.
Yeah. And I think that was really interesting as well, because I remember they were thinking of having, a townhouse or a freestanding home sort of 40, 50 Ks away from the city. But that maybe was right for them in 5 years' time. But the fact that Becky and his team were able to get them into a home now, you really had to turn that around and say, listen, what are you guys doing? Where are you working? What do you do all day? And that really quickly turned them around and realised that having to travel all that time, being away from friends and family, and particularly everything that's great about the city, I think they pretty much signed on the spot, didn't they?
They did. They sort of, it's sort of, like you said, they were thinking about having the acreage and all that. But when they saw the location, when they sort of saw the views and they said, nothing's going to give us this kind of view, they just fell in love with it straight away.
Okay, good. Now, remember Jessica. She'd been knocked back, self-employed, didn't think she could get her foot into the ladder and get that investment property for her future. Finance. Tell us, Becky. I remember this one vividly as well. And it was a great one. In fact, I think it's only happened relatively in the last 6 months.
Yeah, very much so. And this was probably a high-pressured one as well. This particular predicament, Jessica was self-employed. Like most self-employed people, as a result of COVID, getting your tax returns done really wasn't much of a focus. So a lot of people have fallen behind getting their tax returns up to date. As
you included?
I'm included, yeah. That's a well-known fact, but we've got them up to date, I'm proud to say now as well.
Good. Hopefully the ATO isn't listening.
We'll just make sure we ban them from this presentation. But so Jessica came in, didn't have her tax returns up to date, had been declined by the bank because she put the application in. Why she did it as a full doc, I don't know from that point of view, and why anyone gave her that recommendation. But what we basically did was had a conversation with her accountant. We established that we could pretty quickly. She already had her BAS statements completed though, so she had the ability to lodge all of her BAS statements, lodge the BAS statements. We use those BAS statements as a guide to what her draft financials would be. Had a conversation with a couple of banks. One bank in particular said, we'll accept the BAS statements as it is now on the undertaking that we'll have some drafts in the next week. Got the approval, subject to the drafts. The drafts came through and off we went. Got the approval and managed to get it at 90% on a full doc basis, as opposed to getting it originally declined through a previous broker that she did it through.
So Jessica thought she couldn't get an investment property.
No, Jessica was 100% certain she couldn't get an investment property.
And you were able to turn that around and actually get her a great loan.
Yeah.
So Lucas, tell us then, how did you then sort of armed with that, all of a sudden she went from thinking she was never going to buy something. How did you then find the right fit for her? What did you do? And why is she loving it so much?
Look, I remember this one very well. Jessica is from interstate, so she doesn't live in Melbourne. And she assumed she could only afford a one-bedder to begin with as well.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise, surprise. She ended up buying a 2-bed, 2-bath and a study, an 85 square meter apartment for the price that she thought she was going to pay in Sydney for a very small 1-bedroom apartment. So not only did she get the great finance option, she purchased something that she probably only dreamt of that she could have afforded.
Yeah.
And it was great. She just fell in love. She walked in, she saw the bathtub. She says, "Oh my God, I love this." I said, "But this is an investment. You're not going to even believe in it." He says, "Doesn't matter, Lucas. You don't know what's going to happen in the future." She just fell in love with it.
Yeah. And I think that's the great thing as well that we looked at, that gave her a bit more security. You know, with those bigger apartments, you usually have multiple tenants. So it's less concentrated risk compared to a 1-bedroom when you are an investor and you've maybe got one tenant that you may be susceptible to them losing the job. And being from Sydney, how did you also take care of, her looking and finding tenants and so forth? Because I think that was an important thing to her.
Correct. So then I sort of knew that she was going to be an investor. I spoke to her about our whole sort of full service option that we offer, having our own internal property management, being open 7 days a week, being able to find her a tenant. I mean, in Palladium, as you know, there's 0 vacancy rate, right? It's a very sought after building. So telling her, look, this is what's happening here. We can find the right tenant for you, manage the property for you, and sit back and collect the check every month.
I think you even personally found the tenant as well, didn't you?
Within 2 days.
There you go.
Within 2 days.
So there you go. Another way she was able to overcome the concern about finance, overcome thinking where she was limited. You know, think about that value that she got delivered by buying in Palladium Tower, where she thought she could only afford a 1-bedroom, to now getting a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom with a freestanding bath. Great value that was delivered there. Now, lastly, remember Terry, lovely, lovely older gentleman. Now, in this instance, Becky was of no use to us because Terry had all the money. He wanted to pay cash. Whilst I know Becky was keen to say, look, we can look at some options to help you use that cash, Terry is very much focused about finding the right type of property. So Lucas, what did you do? How did you overcome the fact that he'd been looking for 4 years? I think he came with a shopping list of properties to you.
And objections and requirements. Look, first of all, he was trying to find the right design, a property that would suit his lifestyle. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
He's at that stage. He doesn't like to feel cramped in. He doesn't like weird angles. He just likes things to flow through. And I took him through some of the 2-bedroom options. He fell in love with it. Then he started saying, "Lucas, this is all good and the price is great. And, I've got the money. But he says, you know me, in heart, I'm a bit of a country boy. I want to have a barbie every now and then. What am I going to do? He says, this, you know, in this balcony, I don't know. I said, no, don't worry, Terry, let's go downstairs. Took him to level 9, showed him the outdoor barbecue area and sitting area. He loved it, absolutely loved it. And he says, another thing about me, he says, now, you know, I'm sort of retired, would love going to the movies. I said, Terry, follow me. So of course I took him into the cinema room.
It cost him about $18 to buy the seats. But
then I sort of took him into the cinema room, and you know, it was really, I thought he was more excited about that than the whole apartment, to be honest.
Yeah.
So and you know, and I said, look, this is available 365 days a year. You can come down, you can entertain, whatever it is that you want, you've got everything here.
And I think that was a great example where, you know, often we get challenges, and perhaps this might be what you're thinking at the moment, where, you know, you've been in the big family home, whether it's because you're just moving out of mum and dad's home, or you've had the family home and you're looking to downsize, where you're used to having all that space, the pool, you know, space for a gym, you know, different multiple living spaces and so forth, that it's often hard for people to visualize that, which they might have no choice because of budget, or particularly with Terry, you know, he didn't want to be spending all day, all weekend on the maintenance and looking after it, that, you know, they didn't really see how good living in Palladium Tower could be, how good that sort of inner city lifestyle was, with all those amenities at your fingertips within your building, as well as just, you know, a walk away.
Hey, look, I mean, to him was a very important thing. He says, look, I've seen a lot of properties, Lucas, but I'm a bit claustrophobic. I don't want to be indoors. I love the outdoor area. When I want to sit out in the afternoon, even if it's a windy day, I just want to go sit out. So having that huge outdoor area meant a great deal to him. And I also remember he had a bad back. He says, you know, I've got a bad back, but, you know, I can't even swim, but I love sitting in the spa or steam room. So that's when I took him to level 41, of course, where I had both. So, you know, he was made for me. That Terry was the perfect client I could have had. It just walked in the perfect situation, and everything was just tick, tick, tick.
And you didn't even need to leverage our friend here either.
So after about 6
to count his money to make sure
you know,
it was all there.
like you said, he said he's been looking for 4 years, but I think he was embarrassed to admit he's been looking close to about 7 years.
Yeah.
And he was so happy because his search was over the day he met me.
Okay, so there you go. I mean, there's just 3 examples, and we could go on and on about the challenges that people face. And I'm sure most, if not all of you, could identify with one of those customers that we've had, and you've suffered, or you are suffering right now from those same challenges. And you can see how we've been able to overcome it and actually deliver that value using that framework. We've done it all for them. You know, Becky's looked after the finance. Lucas has looked after finding them that right property. Together as a complete team, we've made sure that we're managing that for them and been able to get them into that perfect home. So it wasn't so much about the time as we think of 12 o'clock, the 15th of June, whatever it is. It was about having everything coming together at the right time, using that framework to put all the pieces together so that they could execute with confidence. You know, these guys were able to buy that home and have the confidence that it was the right time for them because they had their finance. They knew it was the right type of property for them, that location, and all of the factors went together. So, where to from here? Now, there's probably 3 options where you can go. The first option is you can do nothing. Okay? Now, what I mean by do nothing is maybe you're okay with where things are, but just remember, if you don't make a change, don't expect a different result. The second thing is you can go and try and do it yourself, the DIY option. You can use the framework that I've talked about, and you can go out there, you can try and get the right finance set up, get those right structures, find that right home and do it all. But if you don't have the time, the expertise or the energy, remember what the rich people do, okay? Sure, they've got money, but you know what they do? They use it wisely, and they go and they leverage the expertise and they get it done for you. So let us help you with it. Let us do it all for you. We invented the framework. we've gone through the framework and we have everything ready to go. All you need to do is put yourself in there. This will compress the time right down so that you can transact and you can execute today, tomorrow, next week, right? That is where I see the real value for you right now. That is why I was so excited. That is why I had to take over today's session and focus in here. So if you do want to do it with us, what do you get? Well, you get the perfect location that meets the golden rule, okay? You get value. You actually get something that at the right price, and you get that value. Remember what Warren Buffett said, price is what you pay, value is what you get. You get the right type of home. So remember we talked about it, Lucas touched on it before, the design, the extras, getting that right home to fit your lifestyle, fit that location, fit the future. Finance, so important, which is why it is one of the 3 key pillars. You can buy with peace of mind that we can help you with that. We can make sure that you can get the loan and you have the right budget for what you can afford. Management, you can feel safe and secure. We can look after the property for you if it's an investment property. We will be on site in your new home. We'll be looking after all of the facilities and the day-to-day management of that key asset for you, making sure that it continues to look amazing in 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 years time. So if that all sounds good and you want to be like John, like Terry, any one of the people, maybe even like Jessica, you're an investor, then think about it. You're probably thinking now, yeah, but that sounds really expensive. Well, it is, because think about it. You're probably going to pay thousands in courses and education to be able to go and do it yourself. Plus, you may need to engage a buyer's agent to help you do that. That's going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars. You'll need to pay for financial advice to have a look at your options available to you, the different loans you might go, different structures and so forth. Again, thousands and thousands of dollars. Of course, you're going to be paying top dollar to get a home that fits everything perfectly, that is brand new, that has all of those great extras. So that's going to be paying at the top of the range that you may or may not be able to afford. And you're going to need to pay between $30,000 to $55,000 in stamp duty. So add all that together and you're nudging somewhere close to $100,000. So it is expensive, right? But remember, value doesn't come for free. You need to expect to be able to pay for that value, right? So think about it. Buyer's agent's fees, financial advice fees, getting the right property, paying stamp duty. We're talking 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, potentially even $100,000 on top of the property price. So what have we got here? For less than $560,000, you can get in Palladium Tower a brand new 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. So I've just picked something randomly here. Lucas, just tell us a little bit about this for everyone's on here. This is a fantastic apartment. How is it that for less than $560,000 you can get something so good as this?
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
It is. I must be making a mistake, so you should jump on it.
No, you're not making a mistake. Look, as I was talking about before, a great sort of design. There's no wasted space. The bedrooms are split in the middle by the bathroom, giving you sort of more privacy. So if you've got somebody that likes to watch a TV late at night or a bit loud, you don't get the noise traveling through. Great. There's no weird angles. It's a very user-friendly design, so to speak. The kitchen with the island bench that people love so much. Your balcony, floor-to-ceiling windows, natural light to both bedrooms. There's really nothing to fault.
We're going to sign up now, don't we?
You need to see Lucas. I'm available 7 days a week.
All right. For less than $650,000, you can buy a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, including a car park. That is value unheard of. Let's remember back to Jessica, was thinking she was going to be paying $800,000 plus for a 1-bedroom apartment in Sydney. I'll pick something randomly here. Tell us a little bit about this.
It speaks for itself. I don't have to say anything here.
There we go. We're done.
Look at this apartment. Again, What a clever design, sort of separating. It's got a nice little entry for you. This one, being a larger apartment, you're able to do more with it. It's got the separate laundry, the amazing bathtub in the main bathroom, your study nook. It's got everything you could want from a property.
Okay, now, before we move through as to how you can get your fingers on one of these, let's not forget some of the things that Terry was excited about. The gym, I mean, that's pretty spectacular. You've got that amazing view. Perhaps it doesn't come across on the TV here. Enjoying it with residents. What else have we got?
We've got the amazing pool looking out to Upper Park Lake and Secunda Beach. And what you said before is actually true. With this building, your floor plan that you might say, the architectural floor plans and these images don't do it justice, James. Normally it's the other way around. People look at a picture, say, wow, it looks so special, it looks amazing. They walk in. The number of people that walk in and say, my gosh, this is exactly as the photos or better. They surprise themselves because they don't expect to find something this good.
Yeah. And of course, the lifestyle. I mean, what more could you want than living here in the city, everything at your fingertips? You can walk everywhere. I mean, you're living here at the moment and you're loving it.
I live in Palladium Tower. I've lost 10 kilos. I've walked everywhere. And I don't exercise. I don't go to the gym. I eat out every night. But because I walk around to the South Melbourne Market on the weekend to get my veggies, I walk across the road to the Crown Entertainment Complex to watch a movie or to have something to eat at one of the fancy restaurants. It's amazing. It's really...
So brand new, ready to move in apartments in the award-winning Palladium Tower, one of our favourite buildings, just completed. I've told you can get a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, including a car, for less than $650. Get a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom for less than $560,000. I mean, that is incredible value. So of course, there's got to be a catch. What is it? Because I'm sure most of you know the saying, if it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. Well, in some respects that is, but just remember, how do we deliver this value? We look at this as a long-term relationship. So remember back at the start of here, and I talked about what do we do? We've got a lot of different businesses and we're all focused around this single goal of helping you create a home. So we look at it as a long-term relationship. We are looking to deliver that value to you and to ourselves through that long-term relationship, unlike a lot of other developers that are purely focused on making that short-term profit and not having that long and enduring relationship with you. That is why we can deliver the value, because we know the value will pay itself back tenfold. But remember, there are only a few limited homes available. Lucas has got a selection of 2-bed, 1-bath and 2-bedroom, 2 bathrooms that are available. You can expect them immediately whenever you want. They're available 7 days a week, but they're not going to last long. I mean, I think even this morning you sold a couple already.
Sold a couple. Last night I had an inspection at 6:30 p.m. and another one at 10 p.m. People realize the options are limited. They don't want to miss out. And lucky for them, like I said, I live in the building. I'm happy to see them at any time during the day and help them find the perfect property.
So you remember I said to you before, all those extra costs. If you buy in Palladium Tower, there are no buyer's agents fees because we've done all the hard work for you. We've gone through the framework. We've done it. We've designed it. We've fitted it exactly. We've got the A1 location. Right? We will do all of your finance for you, and more on that in a minute. We have done all the heavy lifting for you. And the biggest bonus right now, why I'm so excited about this, is that, remember the stamp duty? $30,000 to $55,000. It is one of the most inefficient and most expensive taxes out there that you'll pay. Palladium Tower is approved for all new apartment purchases before the 30th of June, the end of this month, to pay 0 stamp duty. That is a massive saving. I mean, Lucas, we may never see this again. I mean, what government actually does something good for its people? But this is a very limited opportunity. We are so happy that Palladium Tower has been approved for this, and buyers are just lapping this up because, I mean, that is a huge amount of money. I mean, Becky as well, like, think about how much you can help those people when they've got that extra 5.5%, that money up their sleeve, whether that means they can get a bigger budget or they're reducing their monthly repayment costs. I mean, it's huge.
just that saving there alone, James. I mean, that's probably the difference between a lot of people being able to afford the property and actually being able to purchase it and not. I mean, 5.5% is a significant amount. And when you have a look at if they have a 5% deposit, well, the majority of that gets chewed up in stamp duty as well. In this particular case, it doesn't.
Yeah. So remember, that opportunity is limited. So for those of you who are thinking, yeah, but I need to spend a bit more time, I'm unsure, I shouldn't rush into it. I'm going to give you a guarantee, a no risk guarantee, just for everyone that buys this month, so that you can leverage that incentive from the government, so you can pay no stamp duty. I'm putting Becky on the spot. He is going to guarantee you that if you have a job and you have a deposit, that he will get you a home loan. You can buy with confidence. You can sign up today. You can lock in all of those savings. You can get all of that value. Lucas will find the right floor plan for you, and Becky will get you the home loan so that you can settle that thing. And if he doesn't, I'll give you money back. So that is no risk for you. There is no reason why you shouldn't jump on one of these today, because it doesn't cost you anything. If we can't get you the home loan, you better get him the home loan, buddy.
I'll get the home loan.
Then I will give you your money back. You can make all of those savings, and it is something that you should definitely do. But remember, time is not on your side. Okay? That approval from the government for zero stamp duty, it ends at the end of this month. So you've only got a few weeks to go. But for those of you that are nervous, don't want to jump on and don't want to do anything, that is probably a buyer calling right now, wanting to buy and inspect. In fact, it may even be one of you on the phone now. If we had more time, we would do this live. We will hang around the end. So if that was you calling, we might take your questions live here. But you can buy with peace of mind. Remember the guarantee that I gave you. There's no risk. We guarantee that if you've got a job and you've got a deposit, we can get you the home loan. So you can jump on, you can act before that date, because, Lucas, you don't have to have settled the property. You just needed to have signed the contract and do it. So you've still got time up your side, but you need to act now. You need to lock it in.
And like Glenn, who just called me, that was actually a buyer.
Okay, there we go.
He came in and had a look. He's staying at Crown. Comes to visit 2-3 times a year. Not a gambler, but loves the location. From Mackay. And he said, I'm looking to buy a property around about August, but since I'm here, I saw across the road. And when he came in, I showed him around. Again, looking for one better. Guess what? Now he wants a 2-bed, 2-bath, looking over the city, over at Crown, where he normally stays. Added a car space because he didn't think the price was so cheap and could save the stamp duty. And that was him calling me again now to probably come up and sign.
So there's one less apartment available now, because I'm sure Len will probably do it. So I just want to remind you, what are you going to get if you do move forward? Because I know that most of you are thinking you should be doing this, but I just want to refresh you. You get that great location that meets the golden rule. You get that value. You can buy with that confidence that you are getting value with Palladium Tower. You get the right type of property. You get the right design. You get all of our experience in history and all of our latest thinking in those designs. You get the no risk finance. I am never going to offer this again, probably, where I will give you that guarantee that we will get you a home loan if you've got a job and you've got a deposit. So you can buy with that peace of mind. You can rest assured that we will help you manage it if you're an investor. Regardless, we'll be there on site looking after your biggest asset day after day after day. And the bonuses, you get zero stamp duty. That is never to be repeated. I doubt the state government will ever offer up that kind of incentive again. That is up to $55,000 cold hard cash back into your pocket. Ends 30 June, so you better get onto it. Second bonus, as I said, we will guarantee you that you'll get your home loan. So there is no risk. If we can't, I will give you your money back, and I will gladly do that, because I know that we can do it, and I know that you'll be happy for having made that decision. So what do I want you to do now? Well, I'll hang around here, but I can see that we've gone a fair bit over time. So if you do have any questions, hang around and we'll answer them. But I want you to act now. I don't want you to procrastinate, because those of you that take action will be the ones that will get that value. You know, we've only got a limited number of homes. I mean, Lucas believes he's just sold another one in that phone call if he had have answered it. So maybe you've still got time and there is one more available. Remember, it's about time in the market. remember what our friend Malcolm Dingle told us a few weeks ago. You just need to get started. Think of it as a stepping stone. It may not be your forever home, but you need to get started today. Why not do it when you can save $55,000 in stamp duty? I mean, how good is that? Zero stamp duty, but it ends. You must sign your contract before 30 June. And on top of that, I'll give you the no risk guarantee that if you've got a job and you've got a deposit, we will get you the home loan. And if we can't, I'll give you your money back. And lastly, remember, later equals never. So those of you that are thinking I'll do it later, it's likely that you'll never do anything. And even if you do want to do it later, you've only got until the end of this month to get my no risk guarantee that will get you a home loan, plus get the benefit of the government charging you $0 stamp duty on your purchase. Save $55,000, cold hard cash, back into your pocket. Do what you want with it. Buy a new car, go on a holiday, pay down part of your loan, buy a bigger, more expensive apartment, whatever it is, there is a ton of value to be had by you before the end of this month, on top of the fact that you're buying into an award-winning building with everything that we've talked about. I would love for some of you on this line to be the next case study that I put up to others about what value you jumped on and what you did get. Now, before those of you that have got to go sign off, I just want to throw back to the guys. Any last words, Lucas, Becky, for people out there that maybe can't hang around, any sort of frequently asked questions that you think we need to cover for people before they go?
Look, I mean, like you said, again, the big thing here is with the stamp duty, I've had a number of people that, they didn't think they could afford to buy a car space, right? Now, saving the money on the stamp duty, all of a sudden they can afford to buy the car space or get a bigger apartment. A first home buyer that thought they had to buy a small one bedroom because the two bedroom was out of the reach. What's another $50,000? Now, thanks to that, they realize they can afford and get into the right property a lot sooner and not wait for 5-7 years to be able to afford it. And the other thing is, a little bit about us, Salvo. We're a local developer. We're not a one-time developer here to make a quick run and dash. We're here to continue to provide what we provide and to improve in what we're offering to people. And then it's important to have that stability and that future growth with us.
Definitely. All right, Becky, any last words for everyone?
For me, it's pretty much just take advantage of the no risk guaranteed home loan, stamp duty savings, and potentially the government deposit guarantee. Those three you have to take advantage of. You've got limited time left. What is it? What's today? The 15th, I think?
15th.
15 days to go.
2 weeks.
15 days to go. Our office will be open 24/7. We'll take your calls. We'll take appointments anytime, Zoom, face-to-face, whatever's required to get it done.
Good. All right. Well, that is it. If you do have questions, we will hang around and answer all of those. But don't wait. Get in touch with us because, as I said, I couldn't help myself. I had to take over today's question time with this because I don't often see opportunities like this. And I believe that it was my duty for the guys and I to present this to you so that you could see the opportunity that's sitting there and you could make that informed decision, understanding the framework. And like I said, you can take that and you can go out there and do it yourself, or you can be smart about it. You can shorten that time frame right down, take advantage of zero stamp duty, my no risk guarantee that we will get you a home loan. And if we can't, we'll give you your money back on these brand new, complete, ready to move in apartments at Palladium Tower here in South Bank, Melbourne. So thank you all very much for your time today. And I look forward to seeing you guys back to our regular schedule next week.